Maybe this was a mistake. Hey, they'd laugh if they knew. A billionaire sitting in dust, looking for something money can't buy. I just wanted someone to see me. Not the name, not the cars, not the suits, but this is real. Dust, sweat, silence, hunger. I didn't expect it to feel this lonely.
You look tired. Wait here. Here, you don't have to pay.
Why would you?
Why would I charge a tired stranger with soft eyes? Sometimes, a cup of water says more than gold.
No one's ever just given me anything.
Then, maybe, today is a good day to start.
Good evening, my beautiful friends. Tonight, we step into a story wrapped in dust, decorated with dreams, and stirred by a love so real, it nearly vanished before it bloomed. This is the story of a girl named Ife and a man who hid his crown to find something real. In a small, dusty village, he was just a poor taxi driver, laughed at, mocked, rejected. But deep beneath the torn clothes was a secret so big it could change her life forever. Not everyone who looks broken is truly poor, and not every love story begins with a crown. The sun was hot. In the small village of Owena, people walked slowly, fanning themselves with old newspapers. Chickens ran around freely, and the smell of roasted corn filled the air. In the middle of all this, a young woman named Ife was sweeping the front of her mother's small food stall. Her clothes were clean, but old. She smiled at everyone who passed, even when her belly made small noises from hunger.
Ife, go and buy more onions from Mama BC,
her mother called from inside the smoky kitchen.
Yes, Mama.
Ife replied quickly, dropping the broom. She walked with light feet, her braided hair bouncing. Everyone in the village liked her. She helped the old people carry their baskets and gave free food to hungry children when her mother was not looking. But what no one knew was that Ife had big dreams. She wanted to go to the city. She wanted to own her own restaurant. She wanted to make enough money so her mother would never work again.
Some women want diamonds. I just want someone who sees me, even if he has nothing.
Far away, in the big city of Lekki, a man named Toby sat in a tall glass building. He wore a suit that cost more than most people made in a year. He was rich, very rich. He owned hotels, farms, and even a fashion company. But today, he was not happy. He looked out of the window at the busy cars and sighed.
All this power, and yet I'm still invisible. Maybe it's time they saw me without the suits. They only like me because I have money.
He said to his friend Dio, who sat across from him. Dio laughed.
Of course, you're rich and handsome. What do you expect?
I want someone to love me for who I am, not for what I have.
Toby said, rubbing his short beard. That night, Toby had a strange dream. In the dream, he was poor. He wore torn clothes and drove a dusty old taxi. But in that dream, he met a girl with kind eyes who gave him water without asking for anything. When he woke up, his heart was beating fast. The next day, Toby did something crazy. He wore simple clothes, took some money, and told his driver to take him far, very far.
Where to, sir?
Drive until we see no more tall buildings.
Toby said, with a smile. After many hours, they reached a village. The roads were rough, and goats walked in the middle of the street. Toby smiled.
This is perfect.
He whispered. He paid the driver and stepped out with a small bag. Nobody knew who he was. He found a place to sleep and bought an old yellow taxi from a man who thought Toby was just another broke young man from the city. Toby started driving around, picking up passengers. He was clumsy at first. He didn't know how to greet elders or how to drive on the muddy roads. But he learned fast. He watched people. He smiled a lot. And soon, everyone started calling him Brother Toby. One hot afternoon, as he waited by the market square, a girl knocked on his window.
Please, can you take me to the river?
She asked, her voice soft and her eyes bright. Toby looked up and saw her. It was Ife,
Yes, come in.
he said, his voice shaky. As she sat, their eyes met in the mirror. In that short moment, something happened, like magic, like a drum beating slowly in the heart. But Ife didn't know that the driver was a billionaire. And Toby didn't know that this girl was going to change his life forever. Toby tried to keep his eyes on the road, but he kept looking at Ife through the mirror. Her skin glowed like smooth cocoa under the sun. She wore a simple pink dress, her braided ponytail resting neatly behind her. She smelled like palm oil and fresh soap sweet. Honest, real. Eve looked out the window. The wind brushed softly against her cheek. Her fingers gently tapped the seat, following a rhythm in her head.
You're new here.
How do you know?
She smiled, without looking at him.
You drive like a city man, too fast for these roads.
Toby laughed nervously.
I'm still learning.
You'll get used to it. Owena is small but it has a big heart.
At the river, Ife climbed out and handed him a few crumpled notes. Toby stared at the money, unsure whether to take it.
I don't have change.
That's okay. Keep it.
With a smile. And just like that, she walked away, her bare feet kicking up little clouds of dust. That night, Toby couldn't sleep. He sat on the small mattress in his tiny rented room, thinking about the girl with kind eyes. He wasn't used to this feeling. Women in the city chased his cars, his wallet, his name. But Ife didn't even ask for his name. The next morning, he washed his taxi early. He wanted it to shine, even though the paint was peeling. He combed his hair, wore his cleanest shirt, and waited by the market square. He didn't have to wait long. Ife came walking with a basket of onions balanced on her head. She looked surprised to see him again.
You again.
Maybe this road likes me.
She giggled.
Or maybe you like the girl who walks it.
Let me take you where you're going. Free ride.
I don't take free things from strangers.
Then maybe we shouldn't be strangers.
He answered, heart racing. Ife tilted her head, pretending to think. Then she smiled and got in. That ride changed everything. Every day after that, Toby waited for Ife. He learned about her mother's food stall, how she dreamed of a restaurant with white plates and real napkins. He watched her laugh with children, bargain with market women, and wash her hands carefully before eating. She talked about her dreams like they were already real. She made simple things feel magical. But Toby was hiding a big truth, and each time he looked at her, the secret sat heavier on his chest. One evening, they sat under a mango tree, sharing boiled groundnuts. The sun painted the sky, orange and pink. I feel like I've known you forever, Ife said softly. Maybe you have, Toby replied. She looked at him, puzzled. What do you mean? He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Nothing. Just thinking aloud. Before she could ask more, a voice shouted from behind, Ife, your mother needs you. She stood up quickly. I have to go.
Will I see you tomorrow?
It all depends. If you're not too busy driving like a city man again.
And then she was gone. Toby sat under the tree, peeling groundnuts slowly. His heart was full and heavy at the same time. He wanted to tell her the truth. But what if she hated him for lying? What if she walked away? What if she was the one and he ruined it? He closed his eyes and whispered to the evening wind,
Please, don't let me lose her.
The next morning came with soft rain. The village of Owena smelled like wet earth and firewood. Little streams danced beside the road, and the trees looked greener than ever. Toby sat inside his taxi, watching raindrops slide down the windshield. His heart was not calm. He kept thinking of Ife, her laughter, the way she walked, how she said his name. He had lied to her by hiding who he really was, and each time she trusted him, the lie grew bigger. But still, he waited. He waited in the rain until the clouds broke open and the sun peeped through. Around midday, he saw her. She was walking toward him with her basket wrapped in a nylon cover. She looked surprised to see him waiting in the same spot. You again? She asked with a playful smile. Maybe I like rainy days, he said, standing quickly to open the door. She got in and wiped the rain from her face with a small cloth. You should be careful, Brother Toby, she said. Some girls might fall for a driver who waits in the rain. Maybe that's what I want, he replied, before thinking. She paused and looked at him. You joke a lot, she said. But her cheeks turned pink. They drove in silence for a while. The road was muddy, and goats danced in the middle of it like they owned the place. Toby slowed down and laughed. Even the goats here have confidence. Ife chuckled. You'll fit in well then. They reached a small market, and Ife stepped out with her basket. Toby called after her. Wait. She turned around, slowly. Will you go somewhere with me? He asked. Just to talk, by the river? Ife studied his face. The breeze played with her scarf. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then she nodded. After market, Toby felt like he could float. That evening, they sat by the riverbank. Their feet dipped in the cool water. The sky above them turned soft purple, and the trees whispered secrets in the wind.
Do you ever want to leave? Oh, way nah.
Every single day, but my mother, she needs me. She's worked too hard, her hands are always swollen. I promised myself I'd make her proud. I want more. A restaurant, maybe even a hotel. Heh. Big dreams, I know.
They're not too big. In fact, they're just right.
What about you? What do you want?
I want someone to see me. Really see me. Not my job, not my clothes. Just me.
That's what I want too.
They sat in silence, letting the sounds of frogs and flowing water speak for them. Suddenly, Toby's phone rang. He quickly pulled it out and silenced it, but not fast enough. Efe saw the screen flash. It said, "Dial, CEO, Obiko Holdings." Her eyes narrowed. "Obiko Holdings?" she asked slowly. "Is that your friend?" Toby froze. His hand shook slightly as he slipped the phone back into his pocket. "Yes, just a friend." Ife looked at him strangely, but she didn't say anything more. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the name, Obiko Holdings. She had seen it before, on the news, on a billboard. Once, when she followed her mother to the city. Was Brother Toby lying? And if so, why? The next day, Ife was quieter than usual. She walked slowly to the market, her mind full of questions. The name Obiko Holdings echoed in her head like a drumbeat. She remembered the shining billboard, the suit-wearing men, the fancy cars. What if Toby was not who he said he was? When she reached the square, Toby was already waiting, leaning against his dusty taxi. He wore his usual simple shirt, but something about him looked different now. More careful, more nervous. "Good morning," he said, opening the door. "Morning," she replied softly. They drove in silence for a while. The road was the same. The goats were still bold, the wind still warm, but the air between them was not the same. "You're not talking today," Toby said, trying to smile. "Just thinking," Ife answered. "About what?" "About people, about truth." Toby looked ahead, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "Ife," he said, his voice serious, "can I ask you something?" She turned to him. "Would you be angry if someone close to you kept a big secret?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "I guess it depends. Are they hiding to protect themselves or to protect me?" Toby swallowed hard. He wanted to pull the car over. He wanted to tell her everything, but fear held his tongue. She looked out the window again. "Secrets are like smoke," she said. "They rise, and one day they make it hard to breathe." They reached the market. She stepped out, adjusted her scarf, and gave him a small nod. "I'll walk today." Toby didn't move. He just watched her go, his chest heavy. That night, Toby drove out of the village and found a quiet place. Under a tall mango tree, he leaned back in his seat and stared at the stars. "I can't keep this up," he whispered to the sky. "She's not like the others. She's real. She's everything." His phone buzzed again. This time, it was a video call. Dayo's face filled the screen.
Bro, you've gone mad. You've been in that village for 2 weeks. The board is getting nervous.
I need more time.
You're falling for her, aren't you? Haha. Just tell her, man. She's either going to run or stay. But you can't play poor forever.
Did Toby reveal the truth? And when he did Ife run away or stay? Find out in part 2 of this unforgettable journey, right here on African Tales by Nina. You've just experienced a tale from African Tales by Nina, where stories reign and values endure. If this story touched your heart, leave a comment, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes in love. Until next time, walk with purpose and carry our stories with pride.